President Trump's 2025 tariffs sent shockwaves across the globe. These tariffs, implemented on April 2nd, targeted over 90 countries. Rates varied widely. India faced a 26% tariff, while China was hit with a staggering 112.5% tariff. The move triggered immediate reactions from world leaders and financial markets alike. Just over a week later, a partial reprieve came. On April 9th, Trump announced a 90-day pause on most of these tariffs, reducing them to a still significant 10%. However, tariffs on China were not included in this pause. Instead, they were increased to an unprecedented 145%. The White House defended these actions, claiming they were part of a strategic negotiation tactic. They argued that this pressure was necessary to secure fairer trade deals for the United States. This explanation did little to quell the fears of economists and business leaders worldwide. The global trade system, already fragile, was thrown into disarray. This abrupt shift in trade policy has left many scrambling to understand the implications. Will these tariffs achieve their intended goals, or will they inflict lasting damage on the global economy? The answers to these questions remain unclear. What is certain is that the world is watching closely as this tariff tempest unfolds. Initial market response to the tariffs was a clear vote of no confidence. It served as a stark warning of the potential economic consequences if a resolution is not reached.
The true cost of these tariffs extends far beyond the fluctuations of the stock market. They are already being felt by businesses and consumers alike. Small businesses in particular are struggling to cope with the uncertainty and price fluctuations. Many rely on imported goods or materials, and the tariffs have made these significantly more expensive.
The tariffs have also disrupted global supply chains. Companies that rely on components or materials from multiple countries are facing delays and increased costs. This disruption is leading to production slowdowns and, in some cases, even layoffs. The interconnected nature of global manufacturing means that these disruptions are being felt far beyond the borders of the United States.
Consumers are also feeling the pinch. Prices for everyday goods, from groceries to electronics, have increased significantly. This increase is putting a strain on household budgets, particularly for low and middle-income families. The tariffs are effectively acting as a tax on consumers, driving up the cost of living. Expert forecasts paint a bleak picture of the potential long-term economic consequences. The Tax Foundation predicts that the tariffs could cut US economic growth by nearly 1%. Goldman Sachs has lowered China's 2025 GDP growth forecast from 4.5% to 4%. These projections highlight the significant risks that these tariffs pose to the global economy. Interconnected today than it was in the 1930s. The potential for damage from a full-blown trade war is significantly greater. These stories underscore the need for a compassionate and humane approach to trade policy. Economic considerations should not come at the expense of people's livelihoods and well-being.
The long-term consequences of this erosion of trust and the rules-based system are difficult to overstate. It could lead to a fragmentation of the global economy, with countries retreating into protectionist blocs. Such a scenario would have dire consequences for global prosperity and security. Moreover, tariffs can undermine the rule of law in international trade. When countries act unilaterally, it sets a dangerous precedent. It sends a message that might makes right, and that countries are free to disregard international agreements when it suits their interests. When countries resort to protectionist measures, it creates an atmosphere of uncertainty and distrust. Businesses become hesitant to invest and consumers become more cautious with their spending. This hesitancy can stifle economic growth and innovation. Section 7, Beyond the Balance Sheet, the true cost of tariffs. The true cost of tariffs extends far beyond the immediate economic impact. They can damage relationships between countries, erode trust, and undermine the rules-based international trading system that has underpinned global prosperity for decades.
Section 8. Charting a course towards global cooperation. The current tariff standoff is a wake-up call. It highlights the fragility of the global trading system and the need for a renewed commitment to cooperation and dialogue. The stakes are simply too high for countries to engage in tit-for-tat retaliation.
Instead, world leaders must come together to address the legitimate concerns that underpin these trade disputes. This means addressing issues such as intellectual property theft, forced technology transfer, and unfair subsidies. However, these issues need to be addressed through negotiation and within the framework of international institutions like the WTO, not through unilateral actions.
The world needs a return to a rules-based system where disputes are resolved through dialogue and compromise, not through economic warfare.
Such a system is essential for ensuring a stable and prosperous future for all.
Section 9. A call for reason. In an age of uncertainty, the current trade tensions are a symptom of a broader trend of rising nationalism and protectionism. In an increasingly interconnected world, it is tempting to retreat into the perceived safety of one's own borders. However, history has shown time and again that such retreats come at a high cost. The challenges facing the global community, from climate change to pandemics to economic inequality, cannot be solved by countries acting alone. They require cooperation, collaboration, and a willingness to find common ground. The 2025 tariff tempest is a stark reminder of the importance of international cooperation. It's a call for reason and for a renewed commitment to finding solutions that benefit all, not just a select few. The future of the global economy, and indeed the planet, depends on it.